Hi everyone, this is PK Anderson, and this is episode 3, season 1 of I Put the Carnie in Carnivore. So this is my podcast about my journey on on my carnivore diet. So this is it's March 19th. So whew, I'm getting close to being on carnivore diet for 2 months, and I will tell you, it's been very hard this week. Not for cravings or anything like that. Actually, what happened is I had a stomach bug. I had to actually pull over on the side of the road to throw up twice. Well, once to go pick up my computer for work, and once to come home with my computer from work. And then I basically couldn't keep anything down for this is my 4th day, and I'm still struggling. In the morning when my stomach's empty, I really have to ease into my coffee with my collagen peptides in it and butter, and then just sort of like right now it's like 11 o'clock and I still haven't eaten any solid food. And it's not that I'm not hungry, it's just that I won't keep it down. I don't know what's going on. I think I just got at first I thought it was food poisoning because I tried a paleo dish. I was in a rush and I thought, "Oh my gosh, let's buy this paleo dinner." It's pretty close to being carnivore, so it's going to be a cheat day, sort of like a cheat meal. And I ate it. I was like, this has no flavor, no taste or whatever. And then I got it home and, when I was eating it and then like an hour later, my stomach was swirling. My husband was working night shift. So I got up in the morning. I just didn't even know if I was going to make it to go to work. And then I realized because I leave the house by 6 a.m. I realized by 6 a.m. that it was just not going to be a good day. So I just decided I was going to drive in to my facility, pick up my laptop, and head back home and just work from my desk at home. And that was terrible. That was a terrible drive. I haven't I think like I've never had where I was so sick that I felt like I didn't even know if I was going to make it to be able to pull over to the side of the road before I started throwing up. And I don't know what was going on. That was the only random meal that I ate. Everything else was very basic for me. I eat a lot of ground beef on this carnivore diet. And I've really been enjoying, I kind of add bone broth to it and make it sort of like a hamburger soup. And hands down, I think that's my favorite meal. I don't add anything to it or anything like that. I just eat ground beef that's been cooked and then put in this bone broth. And then sometimes I'll add a scoop of collagen powder to it. And that to me is heaven. I don't know. It's just like really feeding my cravings right now. So I actually, um, I the only thing I can think is that it was that paleo meal that I purchased. Because it's really hard to find something. I mean, I had a long day at work. I ended up working 12 hours, I think, or something like that. And I just, sorry, you're getting a glare from I don't even know if that's better or not. Maybe I'll try it the other way with the blinds. I like to be able to look out the window. Yeah, that's better. Now my neighbor will see me recording recording my podcast. I'll be like, "Hi, neighbor." So I just am not a fan of, as I watch my screen, where you get the least amount of glare off my glasses. I don't know. It's like I have a shiny spot. I don't know what's going on. Kitty girl here, she's probably just like, just leave the windows open, please. Anyway, distracting for me because I see this glare off my glasses. So I apologize. I am not a camera person at all. Anyway, back to this thing. I am so into this Carnie beef soup, as I call it. It's just with bone broth. I'll add collagen powder sometimes if I feel like I'm going to need a little extra shot of protein. I'll cook up like 3 or 4 pounds of beef at one time and portion it off and put it into lunches in the freezer. And then I just cook it up in my Hot Logic when I get to work. Pop it in first thing, frozen solid, and it'll be piping hot by 11, 11:30 or 12, whenever I can fit lunch in. And since I start at 6 or 6:30, I eat lunch early. But then I also eat dinner early because I have to go to bed early and then wake up early. So the thing is, with being so sick, I could barely keep anything down. I mean, like, I was lucky if I could hold my coffee down. And so I've totally gone off book. I actually one day the only thing I could keep down was a packet of crackers. That was what I had for lunch, is a packet of crackers, which I'm like, this is blowing my diet all to hell. So I just kind of gave myself some grace and decided, well, I'm going to try to just make it through without, dealing with all of this worries about sticking on carnivore diet. And I'm just going to give myself some grace and decide after I'm able to hold food down, then I'm going to start worrying about what I can eat. I even had one day where I really was like, I'm going to really try to eat this bone broth as my lunch, just as a kind of a liquid soup, warm it up. That was not happening. It was so not happening. In fact, as soon as I got it in my stomach, I don't know if it was just all the fat that was in it or what, but I had to run to the restroom and throw up. So, but now I'm on day 4 of the stomach bug. I've kept my coffee down. Well, almost. I had a little bit of a nausea feeling. So now I'm just waiting it out until I'm just like ravenously hungry, and then I'm going to eat a small portion of meat, ground beef, and see if I can keep it down. If I can't keep it down, then I may find myself I have to run to the grocery store where we're completely out of stuff to cook, so anything I have has to be frozen. So I may just also pick up just some, I don't know, soup or something. Just anything. This stomach bug is insidious, and I don't know where it came from. And that's why I keep thinking it has to be to do with that paleo meal that I bought, because that's the only thing off script. I mean, I pretty much eat butter, beef broth, eggs, and bacon. That's it. And I've really cut down the amount of cheese I'm eating too. So I don't know. Maybe I got a, but I really just don't think I got a bad batch of beef, because most of the time I cook up a meal and then I pop one in the freezer. So I always have one prepared. I'm not eating I'm not trying to cook my meat raw or anything like that in my Hot Logic. So I don't know what's going on. But oddly enough, I don't think I've even lost weight, even though I haven't been able to eat. So something's clearly going on. So I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to talk to you about sort of meal prepping for the week, or which I'm trying to do and trying to stay on carnivore this week. So after the break, I'll be right back. Hey everybody, thanks for sticking with me through the break. You may wonder why I take a break even though I'm on video, but actually this podcast becomes a recorded podcast on anchor.fm that I put the Carnie and Carnivore, and I'm slowly building it. And again, I started out this project. I'm a podcast fan. I've done so many podcasts in my past, and I do one called Dash Away Debt also right now. But I really just wanted to this is sort of like my video graphic diary, if you will, of how I'm doing on this weight loss program, because I'm almost at 2 months. I mean, at the end of March, I'll be at 2 months on this program. Overall, I felt really great except for this weird stomach thing that just sort of hit and decided it was going to make my life hell this week. But I think that's just life. And you have to, whenever you're on any sort of diet program or anything like that, you really need to just go with the flow and give yourself some grace. And my cat is rubbing against my computer. She's going to slash me. Oh, there's her tail. Um, so I just have to say, give yourself some grace. If you've had a slip or a slide in it, just take a step back and don't think, oh my gosh, I've blown my diet all to hell. It's, if you remember, carnivore is just a way of eating. I don't like to call it a diet because I feel like if anything, it's an elimination diet. So my advice is give yourself some grace and go with the flow. If you've gone off the rails with your eating, give yourself grace and start again the next day. And that's kind of what I'm doing with the stomach bug thing because I wasn't going to keep anything down anyway. So I'm going to just eat crackers or what have you. I'm just going to listen to what my body's telling me I might be able to keep down until this is over, which I'm hoping by the end of this weekend it's going to be over. So this is Saturday, the 19th. And yeah, it's been a rough week. In fact, I actually worked from home the last 3 days, which I don't do that very often. I work in a manufacturing facility, and I know my boss wasn't very happy, but he wouldn't have been happy with me at work because I was just so weak and so yuck. In fact, I was worried I actually had COVID, and I took 2 tests to make sure I didn't know, didn't have it. But now, because of time-based management, I can just go back to work with no issues. I don't have to get any sort of another COVID test or anything like that. So this week, I'm trying to get really in the mode where I'm prepping. So my plan is, and what I did last week is I cooked up 2, I guess 3 pounds of bacon, and I just cook it so it's a thick cut bacon, and I cook it for about 35 minutes on 350. And it's just enough where it's like partially cooked, and then when I cook it or warm it up, it finishes off. So I cook that several ways. I'll either pan fry it when I'm going, and maybe I'll chop it up into bits and put it in scrambled eggs, or I'll pan fry it and eat it as whole strips. The other thing I will do is I microwave it at work. And what I do is I wrap the strips in, sort of like a roll of paper towels, and I just, flip it and add another piece of bacon. And usually I'll eat like 2 or 3 pieces of bacon as part of a meal or something like that. Or I call it my emergency bacon. I used to keep pre-cooked bacon at work. So I do like to have emergency bacon on hand. And so I microwave it just 1 minute and it's done perfectly at that point because if I've cooked it most of the way, and then that last minute in the microwave is just getting it to the right consistency. It's not overdone, it's not underdone. And the fat, I don't like fat that's gushy. I prefer a solid fat. So that's my plan with the bacon. I'm also going to go to Cash and Carry today. I want to look and see if there's any ground beef that is in a larger quantity and see how much that might cost to see if that would give me some cost savings. Right now, actually, my grocery bill is quite low because all I buy is meat and bacon. Woo, yes, that's great. But I don't I want to find some savings still. So I'm gonna buzz by Cash and Carry in a city that's about 30 minutes away. And then if I don't find anything there, then I'm gonna go back across the river to Oregon and do grocery outlet to try to find as much. They do a really nice grass-fed beef, 80%, 80/20 in their freezer section in 1 pound packs. So if I don't find a good deal at Cash and Carry, grocery outlet as the next stop. And then at the very last stop, I would say Safeway, because that's my local grocery store in my town, and they shaft you for sure. But it's the only place I can find the heavy cream that I prefer. And if I can't get a pack of 5 dozen eggs from grocery outlet, then I can always find it at Safeway. So that is my plan. So I am going to prep up um, bacon. I'm going to make a whole bunch of hamburger stew, carnivore hamburger stew. I'm going to find some either bone broth or just beef broth. And then I like to add, and I know it's non-carnivore, but I need to have a little bit of flavor. Other than salt and pepper, I will add a little bit of garlic and a little bit of red pepper flakes to that. And it gives it a nice enough broth that I pretty much clean out the container that I bring it to work in and cook it in my Hot Logic, and it's just like perfect. At lunchtime, a nice hot hamburger stew. I'll watch a couple items of news on YouTube, and then I'll hit back to work, and I'm solid for the rest of the day. The other thing that I'm hoping to do this weekend is make not cloud bread, but there is some ladies on YouTube that do I don't know, it's like a protein centered carnivore, if that makes sense. It's not as much high fat as anything, but they're doing these egg white breads. And my husband is like at the end of his rope. He loves bread. So I thought I would try this weekend, and it appears to be made with just egg whites and egg powders and stuff. So I've ordered some of those items and they're coming in. So I think I have the ingredients to try something that I could use as a hot dog bun or a burger bun. And so I have the silicone pans, those little round, they're about 3-inch round, so the same as a Dash waffle iron would be. And I plan on making those. The other thing I wanted to mention is Simply Keto has the best, and I am saying this hands down, like I would eat it over even regular pancakes recipe. And my gosh, do I love it. I actually did a double batch and I had to grind down all of my pork rinds to do it. I ground up 2 bags of pork rinds to have enough pork rind dust to make this double batch. But it was so good. And I made them in my little Dash waffles. And I have pictures on my webpage, so if you haven't checked it or on the Facebook page, check that out. But to me, it is like, oh my gosh, I have them in the freezer in packs of 2, and just 2 of those. I do like a butter and cinnamon with a little bit of monk fruit sweetener in it, sugar on it. It's not, I love maple syrup, but I cannot find a maple syrup replacement that's keto friendly that is good. I've tried everything that I can find and it's just no good. Even the Lancato, or however you say that brand, which a lot of people swear by, and I use their sweeteners, but I just do not like their maple syrup. So I'm all about prepping this weekend so that I'm not caught off guard, because my husband's pretty much not making anything because he says I need to make my meat special or whatever. But I would totally be fine actually if he just made his own meals and then I just made mine. But he'll eat whatever I eat and then eat 50 other things as well. So I'm hoping today to find, when I hit grocery out or cash and carry, is I'm hoping to find some decent plain pork rinds that I can buy it in a bigger bag, because the bags I'm buying right now are about $1.99 or $2.99, and that makes about 2 cups of pork rind dust. So it's expensive to make my little waffles or pancakes. So I'm hoping to find a bigger container that's less money. We'll see though. I haven't gone to cash and carry in over a year. So fingers crossed I'm gonna find that. And then the rest of the weekend, I'm doing my tax documents for my business, and I'm also going to be prepping food so that it's just a simple process for me during the week to, have meals ready to go, prepped and ready, and I just can cook them up in 30 minutes or less and be done with it. And with me putting my meals in the freezer, they cook in my Hot Logic, so I have piping hot food. I don't have to use a communal microwave in my office, and I can keep working and eating if I need to or do whatever. So, woohoo! I don't even know, this is like week 8 on the carnivore diet, but I've sort of had that landslide of not being able to keep any food down and eating crackers. So, I don't I am feeling better though. I've kept my coffee down this morning, and I'm confident that if I was going to make something for lunch that I would be able to eat it before I go out grocery shopping. So, thanks for sticking with me. This is episode 3 of I Put the Carnie in Carnivore. And I hope if you haven't joined my Facebook page, wander over there and look for I Put the Carnie in Carnivore. I share also little food tips as well. And then if you just want to listen to this as a podcast, it's available on anchor.fm, Spotify, Apple. I've just been added to Amazon as well. So it's I Put the Carnie in Carnivore. And yeah, so here's looking at eating carnivore for this week. Here's looking at ditching this flu bug that's driving me crazy. And hopefully next week I'm going to join you with success numbers of weight, but I'm not even weighing today because, not being able to eat anything but a packet of crackers doesn't really speak to being able to stay in keto carnivore, status. So ketosis, I guess I should say. So I don't want to derail me, so I'm just going to move forward, and I will be doing that again next week. So thanks for sticking with me, and this is PK Anderson, author, and hopefully this will inspire you if you've been struggling to lose weight, to give carnivore diet a chance. So thank you.